Um, One of them, so I always tell people that I trade control for diversification as a passive investor, and I try to get diversified across asset classes, geographies, and operators. And so, um, the problem is that when you give control to somebody, you can't eliminate all the risk. It's impossible. Now, there could be fraud, mismanagement, Ponzi scheme. And also, there's like what I call, I can name you 20 what I call 1% risks that can happen that have nothing to do with how the property is being managed. So there's so many things that can happen. So you have to diversify. So that's learning number one, which is the most important one. Learning number two is that you have to acknowledge that you're going into something that has all these 1% risks, even if something is mismanaged or worse. That's why diversification is so important. You cannot avoid them. It's just the risks are always there. Um, Number three is that in that particular case, the reason why I didn't lose equity is because I made a bet on a person who was willing to come up to the plate and actually help investors. Not only were they capable of it, so I now favor sponsors who are wealthier because they can choose to help fix problems. Sometimes avoiding cash calls and just putting their own money in, right? But also forget that they had the money. Legally, they didn't have to do it, so they had to have the mindset and the mentality that they wanted to do it. So I'm not saying I have hard, steadfast rules of only investing with those types of people, but they're good lessons to see and learn, right? And yeah, so the lesson there for me was, you got to take a look at every single managing member very carefully, even if a managing member seems much more benign than others and less key at a time because things can change. But again, I want to go back to the fact that, like, multiple dominoes have to fall. You have to have a manager dispute, which doesn't often happen. You have to have the wrong guys walk away. Then you have to have that guy who happens to not have real estate experience and who also is sketchy. For dominoes, right? So again, this is why diversification is so important. And this is just, if you're going to go into the space, you have to be willing to take on and kind of acknowledge that these risks exist and know that they can happen. And there are some you just cannot do much about. And the last thing I want is somebody thinking, oh, focus was I just try a bunch of go and do it, stop waiting. Because sometimes waiting makes the most sense.